if you told the following businesses they couldn't be in names and numbers?
It would be a mistake because Names and Numbers is the #1 phone book in the 4-state area.
I have used the other directories and have been lost in their process. And I like the personal touches that Names and Numbers has given and provided the insulation of the Ozarks.
As a business, you cannot afford not to be in Names and Numbers.
Names and Numbers has just been so great. I would never consider leaving that out of my advertising. It's an essential part of it, and it will continue to be so for many years for wall designers to advertise in Names and Numbers.
What do these customers know others don't? Proven value.
I know we're receiving good response from the book because we do use call tracking, and we've actually changed to have an odd phone number that is only tied to the Names and Numbers book. And so we're able to see how many calls a month come into that.
Texas Body and Frame has a metered line in the Names and Numbers phone book, and at any time we can find out how many phone calls we've received in any given month from the Names and Numbers phone book.
I feel like we're getting good results from Names and Numbers because we can accurately test our leads.
Our advertising with Names and Numbers is effective, and the way we know that is because we track it. We actually don't do advertising unless it works. So we know that it works, and we actually have systems in our business here at Free Unflood that track our numbers, and our numbers show that we get a good return on our investment with Names and Numbers.
Well, here at Air Conditioning Services, we have full customer tracking, and we sat down with our Names and Numbers representative and went through about 20 calls and looked at them and found that we had about 80% of those calls actually schedule appointments. And of just those 20 calls that we looked at, it more than paid for the advertising for the year.
I can tell my Names and Numbers advertising is effective because my phone is ringing more. And I know it's coming from Names and Numbers because I get the whisper that tells me it is.
Names and Numbers is a book that a lot of people use in our region.
We get a lot of calls every day for plumbing repair work and new construction work from Names and Numbers.
And I just love Names and Numbers. It's the best book, locals book out there.
Oh, I do recommend to other businesses that they use Names and Numbers.
They've really helped my business maintain a high profile here in the community.
We hear more people tell us that they see our ad Names and Numbers than we do in about any other advertisement we use.
So we really do feel like that our Names and Numbers advertising is very effective.
Thank you, Names and Numbers, really.
Well, just thank you, Names and Numbers, for all the help you've done for Village Hairstyles.
Okay, so how are things been going over time? Are they getting better or worse? I know the popular perception, again, is it's going away. But one of the things I do, the way I measure over time, is where we take the same advertiser and how many calls do they get in 1 year, and then with the same ad, same size ad, same heading, how many did they receive the next year? And we have a couple hundred advertisers where we've done that for your advertisers. And what I can tell you is over the past 3 to 4 years, in each year, calls have gone up. An advertiser who would have received 100 calls in 2012, by the year 2015, would be receiving 135 calls, a 35% increase over the past 3 years. And every year, those calls have gone up. Wow. Just in the past year, they've gone up a good 10%, 10-15%. Again, wow. People are using the Yellow Pages. The calls prove it.
Of the many examples of increased call counts, here are just a couple of specific examples. Suites, Sewer, and Drain Cleaning received 1,155 calls in 2012 and 1,301 calls in 2013, a 113% increase. Evans Plumbing received 2,133 calls in 2012 and increased to 2,765 calls in 2013, a 130% increase. Roberts Electric received 695 calls in 2014 and increased to 869 calls in 2015, a 125% increase.
For every dollar that a business spends on your ads, they're getting about $26 of sales revenue in return for that. I call it the SROI, sales revenue, sales return on investment. 26 to 1. To give you a point of comparison, across all advertising in the United States, the best estimate of the sales return on investment is 9 to 1. Across direct marketing, internet advertising, radio, TV, about 9 to 1. You're almost 3 times higher than the average for all other media. That's phenomenal. Direct marketing gets a little bit better than the national average. It's about 12 to 1. You're more than twice the return for direct marketing. Internet advertising ranges all over the map. Display advertising on internet can only be a couple dollars to 1. Search results can vary all over the map as well. But the best I've seen for the internet is $15 to $20 to 1. You're higher than that. That's something to be proud of. That's something that your advertisers should be almost clamoring to get into the books for if they understood the incredible value that they could receive from their ads in the Yellow Pages. The typical business has a gross profit margin of about 30 to 35%. So that's incremental profit if you exclude the rent and their fixed costs. So if you say what's 26 to 1 in sales in terms of profit for the business, that's about 9 to 1. For every dollar they spend, they're making $9 of incremental profit to their business. Wow. Another way of looking at it, a typical business gets 255 calls a year. How many do they need to break even? How many do they need to make enough profit to pay for the cost of the ad? On average, it's about 26 calls a year. 1 or 2 calls a month. And your ads are delivering about 10 times more than that, 5 to 10 times more. About 10 to 20 calls a month, 20 calls a month. Not a bad proposition. So when you're going and talking to your advertiser, you're going to have 100% confidence that if they're making a purchase in your books, they're going to make money, and they're going to make good money. And they're going to make money on average that delivers more that they're going to get in any other media. As popular as all the other media are, the one that's going to give them the best financial returns are the Yellow Pages. Specifically, the names and numbers Yellow Pages.
Well, I just like to say that I'm glad that there is a phone book out there called Names and Numbers, because it really works and it brings me business.
Names and Numbers, it's your 5-star phone book.